Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach VOD review. We are reviewing a Diamond 1 Ana player on Dorado. Let's get into it here. Okay, so they say to start, Masters Ana wants VOD review. I generally don't know what I could have done better here, and this is most of my games and how I play usually. But despite this, I fell from GM4 to Diamond 1 in the past week. Parentheses, I play a lot. Rank, Diamond 1, I was Master 1 just a few days ago, but fell hard even though I wasn't having bad games. I really just want to know if there's anything I'm doing wrong because I'm disappointed that I fell from GM4 to this. I know ranks are a bit inflated, but I think I deserve mid-masters. Most of my games recently have had me have a solid tank who isn't diffed hard, but then usually there's one DPS on my team that has an absurd amount of deaths and goes negative. I'm really just wanting to know how I can climb back up, or will it just take a lucky streak of teammates? Okay, so my first question to you would be, and feel free to answer this in the comments when you watch this. So question one, are you normally playing Ana in these games? Like, is Ana basically your main hero? I'm going to assume with yes, because I think a lot of Ana players tend to just pick her right out of the gate. So assuming that's the case, number two, do you find yourself primarily healing the tank and maybe one other DPS, and then the DPS that tends to go negative, as you say, maybe gets ignored by you? I guess long story short, the point I'm trying to get at is, are you spreading the heals around enough for everybody to benefit? Now, granted, there is a division of labor when it comes to support, and if you're playing Ana, your primary responsibility would be the tank. But, you know, if it's becoming a common enough trend where you fall in a full rank and then some, you know, maybe you got to just reassess who's getting healed and how they're getting healed, or maybe not one trick Ana so much, but maybe you're not doing that. I don't know. But it's just my initial thoughts to your introduction. So okay, so it's unlucky your tank hasn't even picked yet. Okay, so they're going Diva. All right, it's gonna be rough for you here. And I turned my pen off. Let me get my pen back up here. My pen's not working. Hold on. Technical difficulty. I think if I just restart it, it will come back up. If not, I'll just restart the record. Okay, good. All right, pen's up. Y'all didn't see this. Okay, so let's dig into your team comp situation here. So this is our Ana. And so, yeah, your primary job here is going to have to be healing Diva. Diva, the thing I don't like about having Diva on my team most of the time is it eats up a lot of healing resources. So basically how I see this going is you're going to primarily be healing Diva, and then secondary is going to be the Torb, leaving Kiriko to heal Genji, which is not ideal. Kiriko's not great for healing high mobility characters because her little healing coupons, as I like to call them, struggle to keep up with the high mobility movements, and they oftentimes just don't hit their target, I find. Now, Genji's kind of, it depends when you're throwing him at Genji, obviously, but if he starts hitting multiple dashes and does all kinds of crazy stuff, if he's blading, those tickets can sometimes have a hard time healing him. So, because I have not watched this yet, but if your Genji ended up being the one that struggled here and was the one that went negative, this is the kind of thing I was talking about. Maybe a DPS on your team just is not being supported properly, and that can go a lot of different ways because Kiriko is kind of a pseudo main off support character. So maybe she starts overcompensating on the heals to the diva, and then Torb can be an easy shot as Ana. But I think everybody knows an Ana aiming at a Genji can be a little on the problematic side once in a while. So I don't know. It's just another thought as we dive a little deeper into this without having pressed play yet. So, but I like your positioning for the most part to start. The only thing I probably do is I usually play over here just to try to get a couple pot shots off, and then I move to where you're at. But, you know, that's just something I like to do. But I'll admit, I'm not it. Ana is one of my more lesser played supports, so I'm usually playing like a Zen or a Lucio there or even Kiriko. I play a lot of Kiriko too. But that's something I like to do. So you might benefit from landing like a sleep dart coming out of spawn or an anti, that kind of a thing. Because I don't understand this so much, but I notice a lot of people these days start playing really deep into the spawn on defense here. Like basically this area that I've got circled, not necessarily the high ground spot, but just this part of the track. They overcompensate for playing down there, and instead of holding one of the better chokes. And I'll point this more out if your team does it or not. Okay, so good job you keeping the Genji going.
Keep an eye out.
Your tank's late to the party, so your tank just got here now. Okay, good anti. Team didn't really do anything to take advantage of it though, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so you see kind of what I called out here. The Kiriko is not playing like an off support. They're not really doing anything at the moment. They've got 9. Looks like they're just playing as a DPS.
I'm here. Keep fighting.
And then on top of that, they wasted their E.
Got an enemy here.
I have you. Keep fighting. I'm in A.
안녕.
ازيك؟
Hi.
covering you. انتي بأمان. I see you.
So, okay, you've got your nade. Wait, did you have it when I was going to tell you to use it? Let me see here. No, you didn't. Okay, you still had 2 seconds. I was going to say nading right here could have been huge because, you know, you get healing to your diva, and then you probably, depending on exactly where you throw it, you probably get somewhere between 2, yeah, probably about 2 antis, depending on where you throw it. Because I think if you throw it like somewhere in this vicinity, you get them. You threw it like down here, you'd probably get them, you know, something like that. But yeah, that's about all you're ever really going to get there. But still, that would have been a good nade if you had it. But you're at a 4-second cooldown right now, so that's unfortunate.
I see you.
Under my protection.
And your diva's just feeding. Okay, so your team's doing the same thing I see a lot of teams doing. I don't understand this. I really don't, because this is a day 1 Overwatch map. So I feel like people should have good fundamentals on this map, but it feels like all the fundamentals have just gone completely out the window. So let's talk about this for a moment. This tank just overextended and fed right here. And this is not the spot to be trying to win or lose battles. Where your Torb is where you want to be holding. Because if you can get the payload to basically stop somewhere in the vicinity of right here, and you're all playing over here, suddenly you've got all kinds of different lanes to shoot down. So if this is the cart, if that's the cart, you shoot down there, you shoot down there, shoot up here, and that's it. And then the cart can be a shield. Your tank can eat up a bunch of damage. You as the Ana, let me get off the pen here. you've got a fairly good spot to sit at right here just to heal it all. If you gotta, you know, if you start taking a random shot, you can hide here. You can hide here, you can reload, and then you can sleep somebody down one of the lanes that they're trying to come down through. And they don't have a lot to really push through that unless that Doomfist somehow gets really good value. But instead, your tank goes down there and feeds and overcompensates at holding the cart down here for some reason, and it was not the play to do. That tank just cost you guys the first point, I think. Just by doing that. Unless you can get them out. I'm actually surprised they're not demeched yet.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Okay, I'm shocked that that tank survived that. Okay, maybe I'm completely wrong and you guys are going to hold the choke. Although it didn't look like that was the game plan and it just became a happy little accident. But whatever, I'll take it if you can do it. Because I'd love to actually illustrate this to people. Because every time I've VOD reviewed on this map, nobody has held this choke yet. And it bothers me. Okay, good anti. So, okay, as soon as the Diva Bomb didn't land any kills, I would have said to back off. And then just hold this choke. Oh, good sleep. Yeah, fall back, fall back, fall back. That was not a good nade there. I don't know why you threw that.
Setting out the welcome mat.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, things got too crazy, and now they're gonna get through it. And that's unfortunate. I really want to VOD review somebody who holds that choke. Oh, well, you guys tried your best. But see, the other thing I want to point out is if you can properly hold that choke, it oftentimes will give you guys, assuming you're playing a certain hero set, in this case, a mobility tank like Diva, you guys can usually get back and recontest again in this courtyard, and it's not the end of the world to be able to hold in here. There's good spots. Now, for you, I would suggest for you trying to get up here, that or playing off to the left, like way off to the left, those would be the two spots I would like to see you at here. That's a good sleep dart though. Unfortunately, he got woken up right away, but
You're welcome.
do not use nano. Okay, good. You got, okay, good. So you still got nano for the next one. All right, so holding the choke now is going to be difficult because the objective's not sitting in the middle of it, but okay, so you give the nod to the Genji for the nano blade. That's going to inevitably come, I suspect. Okay, hold up. Whoa. How are you a GM Ana? Or a former GM Ana?
I'll keep you up.
Devastation.
I think I found your first huge mistake.
You're powered up.
Yep.
Get in there.
Where is your nano confirm? Why is that not on? Turn nano confirm on immediately after watching. Actually, you know what? Pause the video right now. Go into your settings and turn nano confirm on. That is a cardinal sin to me that you don't have that turned on. Turn nano confirm on ASAP and get used to that that extra little menu, because if you ever nano the wrong person and it 9.9 out of 10 times it's because you don't have nano confirm on. That needs to be on. Now, good job at least for landing the nano target, because I easily could have saw Diva stealing that. So good job at least for landing it, but turn nano confirm on for the love of God. So let's see. I feel like that nano to the Genji was a little early, but he did get 2 kills, but he died though. I think I think if it were me, now, all right, let me just throw my credentials out there because if you're going to be new watching me, and to anybody else that's watching me that hasn't watched my other videos. So as of right now, I'm a Masters 2 support player. And that's about my peak in terms of all of Overwatch, but I've been playing since the beta of Overwatch 1, but my peak is basically Masters 2. So you have been higher than me, but you are also currently lower than me. If I'm playing Ana here, I'd probably wait for the enemy team to push through this choke and kind of engage a little bit more, and then I nano the Genji. Unless the Genji called out for it and you gave it to him when he wanted it. That would be the caveat to what I'm telling you here. If the Genji wants it there, then fine, give it to him. But if the Genji didn't look like he was expecting it quite when you gave him nano, he didn't look ready for it completely. He still did fine with it. So don't get me wrong. Like, you guys, you used 2 ults, you got 2 kills. It's not the best, but it's good enough. You know what I mean? But to me, I would have waited for the enemy team to commit more to that push, then you nano blade. And then I think you either get a team wipe or that Genji, maybe he gets 2 kills, but he's still alive. Because when you made that Genji go blade around the corner, and now he's not being supported unless the Kiriko is on the same page as you guys, and then, you know, pockets him and teleports to him, that kind of a thing. But that didn't happen, so the Genji died. So I would have waited more for them to fully commit, because you don't really have to time your nano blades because of any kind of counter ult. They're not running Zen, they're not running Lucio. So they don't have a defensive ultimate to deal with Nano Blade. And they don't have like a grab or anything that might counter Nano Blade anyway. I mean, a High Noon, I suppose, if he gets low and they pop that or something. But the point I'm making is they don't have anything that will take out a full HP'd Nanoed Genji swinging all over the place. So that's where I'm seeing like your first huge mishap to some extent. Now, mainly more on the nano confirm side of things, but I think you could have maybe gotten a little bit better value off of that nano blade, maybe.
30 seconds. Don't fret. I see you.
So, once everything kind of settled down, one thing I would have suggested, because they're not really running any snipers or anything, is take a high ground stance. Either stand over here or be in the window, and then just be willing to come back over here once they start shooting at you. Because the only thing that's really going to deal you any like real damage would be a Moira orb, or if the Doomfist decides to try to dive you up here, even though you'd have a sleep dart and it would force him into a pretty tight area, you'd probably be able to counter that. There's no mercy pocket, so the Cassidy's not gonna like quickly 2-tap you or anything like that. So I think you would have been fine playing the window or being up here as opposed to playing down here. Okay, good anti. I'm not exactly sure what you got, but it looked like a relatively safe throw. I think I would have done something similar if I were playing Ana there. Yeah, so I don't think this Kiriko is doing a lot to heal the DPS, and I think the Genji's not getting supported very well. At least from what I'm noticing from your point of view. Yeah, it looks like she's healing the D.Va. Okay, I'm not sure why you decided to wake that Doomfist up. I'd call that a bad habit mistake from you there, because it's overtime, and he slept, and nobody was looking at him. And he's not touching the cart, so he's not going to make the cart move. You kill the Moira, he stays slept, and you win. I don't think he would have woken up in time to have Good anti. Yeah, see that Genji's... This is a little bit more on your Kiriko than on you, but this Genji's not getting healed enough, just in a general sense, in my opinion.
The payload has reached the check. This is Zayek.
Okay. I learned from that.
The other thing... This might be a bias to me. I'm not a big fan of Diva as a character, especially right now. I view her as a bit of a weaker tank. I'm not saying she doesn't have a role to play and a reason to be played at times, but nanoing Diva there, I don't know. I think you did it just because it was overtime and you felt like maybe that would have won the fight. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of nanoing Diva. But I think I get why you did it, though. I'm just saying. Yeah, this looks like it's going to start snowballing on you guys pretty quickly here, and I think it's because your team's just not getting supported properly at the moment. Kiriko does not understand her role in this team comp, and I think that's the big problem here. And then you keep nanoing Diva. So ping the Moira. Yeah, there we go. Ping Moira, so when she starts diving you, your team will know and to peel for you. Unless you're calling it out in comms. You know, no way for me to truly know that. But from what I can see, use the ping system. It's a great feature. And in my opinion, it's the best part of Overwatch 2 is the ping system. I love it. I use it all the time. Granted, I play a lot of Kiriko and Lucio and high mobility supports, so it's a little bit easier for me to kind of play a little bit of a scout role. But in a situation like that, I think that would have been a great time to use your ping. Oh boy. Yeah, so don't be so quick to give up your high ground. However, the other thing I want to say here is if you're finding you're not getting a good line of sight playing this high ground, why not just go over there? I mean, it seems like your Diva kind of wants to play into this choke, and I'm not really opposed to that. So why not play over here? And then if you're playing like right here, you heal the Diva, you heal the Torb, and you heal the front line. And if they start shooting at you, you just duck away for a little bit. And then, or you could move over here and start strafing left and right while still healing your Diva. And then they're going to have a tougher time shooting you. Now, obviously, if he's visoring, that won't work. But like when he's not visoring is, you know, obviously when I'm saying like play over here, go left and right and, you know, try to wiggle around and be hard to hit and that kind of a thing. But like, it seems like you just want to be up here, and it's a little problematic to what your team wants to do. If they want to play over there, you're going to have to play over there or on the low ground. I mean, I guess if you wanted to be on the low ground, that would be fine too. I would advocate high ground though. But that's just me. But I don't really think playing this spot of high ground is advantageous to what your team wants to do.
The time is short. Hold strong.
Yeah, it's gotta give that one up. Try to get your Torb out if you can. Torb gave himself up. Happens. That would be a thing where you could have said on the mic, like you could have been telling the Torb, like, peek me, I can get you out of there, you know, I can heal you, just come to me, kind of a thing. He probably just thought he was alone and just been left to, you know, die, kind of a thing. Might not have been the end of the world though that, you know, he just died, because at least he died quick. Oh, unlucky. Okay, so I do like this Mercy pick. I think your DPS are going to be properly supported at this point now. My guess is your DPS were getting frustrated, and I I don't blame that on you. I blame that more on Kiriko not understanding their role to the team. However, that... oh, wait, that's a headshot from a Widow. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. So, okay, in terms of your positioning here, not a big fan of it. I would be playing right here. Right here or over here. Something like this. Somewhere over here. You could go over here if you really want to too, but somewhere in this vicinity is where I'd like to see you right now, not on the low ground.
No recovery. Come over here, friend.
You're landing a lot of antis, but it's hard to say if they're actually high quality antis or not. And I'm honestly not totally sure if they have been. Outside of the ones you've been landing on the tank. Yeah, see, if you were high ground, you probably don't die here, I don't think. I mean, the Doomfist could have ulted and landed up there to maybe bring you down, but it would have given you an escape route. His ult doesn't do anything to you if he has to knock you off of high ground with it.
I want. You're powered up. Get in there.
Yeah.
I will.
Kit's also disappointed.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you something I have never shown anybody on a VOD review before. And it's specific to this map coming out of this spawn. So, alright. This is what you do. This is an Ana only thing. So this is what you do. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't. I'm guessing you don't though. Most people don't know this. So this is what you do. Let me get my pen out. Okay. That pot right there, you stand on top of it. Okay? That's number one. Number two. Okay, so we're on the pot. Obviously my height's gonna be a little off, but you're on the pot. You look up. You put the 0 from your alt charge, you know, the interface that you have, you put it so that the 0 is right in the middle of these two spots. And as soon as this clock hits 0 and the doors open, throw your anti-nade right there. And what'll happen, that anti-nade, it comes up, it comes down, and look at all these people it's going to hit. It's going to land roughly right here. And you're going to hit 3, maybe 4. I forget exactly where it lands, but it will land somewhere in the vicinity of right here. And you'll get at least the Brig and the Ramatra, maybe the May, maybe the Mercy, just because I forget the exact spot that it lands. But it will land somewhere up here, and you'll get a bunch of antis just right off the bat. So whenever you play support on this map on attack, if the other support isn't playing Ana, and even if you're not an Ana player, just roll out of the map doing that. Just roll out with it, and you'll land. If anybody's playing up there, and a lot of times people are, you'll land some form of an anti, and it'll just be free ult charge, even if you swap to another hero right away. But yeah, it's a great little rollout. Easter egg, I guess you could call it, because not many people know that trick.
Got you.
Okay, so look, see here again, your Kiriko is very hyper focused on healing the tank, and you are too, and I get why you are, because technically that should be your job. So your game awareness has to kick in when you're playing with a Kiriko who does not understand their role, in a role where you're Kiriko playing with an Ana, you're supposed to be the off healer. So if you're trying to heal the diva and the Kiriko's also healing diva, you either gotta communicate the division of labor to the Kiriko, or you gotta start playing an off support role and start healing the DPS. Because that guy was sitting there for a minute at very low health, and I'm betting you that he's playing soldier right now so he can self heal. And he died. Ultimately, again, I feel this is a problem more on the Kiriko side of things, but, you know, if the DPS aren't getting healed, they need to get healed. Now, yeah, I don't know if, see, okay, so I'm not sure if Lucio's really a good pick here, just because I don't think mobility is really, I mean, Diva and Genji can dive with you. The Kiriko can, so that means the soldier is going to have to push the cart. I mean, I don't know. Typically speaking, you want to play Lucio when the speed boost is needed. Or if you need a defensive ult for like a nano blade or a soldier, you know, nano visor, those kind of things. I'm not seeing any of that here. I mean, you could beat drop a Mei ultimate, I suppose, but that's, or the Ramatra ult, but... I don't know. I probably would have suggested Baptiste, or Zen, or Mercy. Mercy could have been good here too. So let's see what you do on Lucio. I play a lot of Lucio and I play a lot of Kiriko, so I'm just curious to see what we get out of you guys here. So yeah, another reason why I'm not a big fan of this healing comp, this Diva, again, Diva takes a lot of healing resources. Lucio with a Diva, I feel like, is a terrible combination because Lucio can't heal a lot in a 5 versus 5 scenario. I noticed my healing numbers fell through a cliff when they took a second tank out of the game. So if you're only tank is Diva, you're not going to do much at all for healing unless everybody's playing like a death ball, like around the cart, and you're staying with them on the cart. That would be the caveat to that, but that's not happening here at all. So that's why I say the Lucio's not going to work in my opinion. A Zen with at least more of a close-up, or a more like a precise healing might be better, and then it also allows you to stay on the cart, or Mercy for the same principles might be better here. Your wall riding's not bad though from what I'm seeing though, so that's good. Out of the Lucios that I VOD review, I have to, you know, preach to them to get off the ground and wall ride more. You're staying on the walls pretty effectively, I'd say. Yeah, Winston falls under the same category with Lucio. Boy, I don't beat drop where you beat drop there. Definitely don't. So, okay, the reason why I say don't beat drop that, you've got like a savior complex and you feel like you can save them. This is not savable. One hit, and you're pretty low. Well, you're okay. 3 people are 1 hit. You've essentially bought them time to not be 1 hit, but the Kiriko, I don't think they're healing. Let's see. Let's watch this in half speed.
Everyone heal up.
So Kiriko must have either healed themselves or the passive kicked in, but she's not healing. Soldier heals himself with you, but he can't do anything because he's being zoned out by the shield. And I'm guessing Kiriko's now healing Winston a little bit. And then Kiriko just goes into DPS mode and then gets a kill. But now Soldier's dead. You're nowhere near anybody. And you're basically zoned out. Unfortunate you didn't get that kill. That would have been a nice kill for you to get. If you would have maybe dove him a little bit and punched him, I think you maybe get that kill. But ultimately, what I would have suggested is you saved it for either Mei or Ramatra ult, and then you pop your ult, because you guys don't have anything for those. I mean, well, you do have something for Mei ult. You've got Kiriko pressing her E ability on anybody that gets frozen, and then they get out of it. But Ramatra ult, you guys really don't have anything for it. You guys got nothing for that. You're going to have to, assuming he pops it at a good time, you guys would have to eat that. So a beat drop there allows you guys to eat it safely without dying, essentially, unless something really bad happens. Okay, good. You guys got it anyway. I still say though, I would not have beat dropped that. I would have waited for the next push in. I would have just let them die, get out, save it for the next push in. When they start committing ults, that's when I would have beat dropped. That's what I would have done. But it looks like it worked out for you. I mean, it worked. So
We're bringing out your best self. Check this out. I am on fire.
okay, looks like you pinged that one. So if you, yeah, maybe it's like a mental mindset where like when you play Lucio, you kind of assume more of a scout role and then you start pinging stuff. But try to get in the habit of when you're playing support, just pinging things in general. Get out, get out, get out. Yeah, you must have got stuck on the wall or something there. But yeah, that's a grounded Lucio problem. You got off the wall riding and then you got stuck or something. I'm not really sure what happened there, but for as well as you were doing wall riding in the beginning, not so good there. And that rollout right there is terrible. You didn't wall ride at all to get out of there. You could have. I guess we could cover that real quick. Okay. So what you do, bounce off the edge here, and then look up when you do it. So like, shoot up, and you can catch this tree, catch over here, and then you should be able to catch over here, stick to it, bounce to over here, and then depending on what's happening, you either want to jump over the wall or you can just stay around it and then try to catch over here. You could catch to here, and then just kind of hover around wherever you need to be from there. But that would have been how to roll out from there. Instead, you just hit your amp and just... Looks like you might have bounced off the tree or something, but... you know, you could have gotten there a little quicker. It's a nitpick, but just saying. Personally, though, I'm not a big fan of Lucio with Winston. I don't think your Winston's going to get enough healing from this kind of team comp. And I don't think your DPS will either. It's asking a lot of the Kiriko, and I feel like your Kiriko's been struggling. Without having watched them, just from your perspective anyway, it feels like they have been. Yeah. So, the one thing I will say here... Oh, shoot.
Ready for battle.
Is if I'm you, I'm playing over here, like somewhere in this vicinity, and then poking this way, because they're playing short range characters. You know, they got the Reaper, they got Cassidy, Ramatra's kind of mid range, Cassidy's kind of mid range, and then you got Kiriko, who, in my opinion, a little bit more of a mid range character. I mean, she can do long range, but I think she's at best more mid range. So when you go out this way, they don't have much to shoot at. Like it's a very tight window. Whereas if you guys come out this way, gives you more room to work with. And you guys are rocking more of the range team comp. Soldier, a little bit more in the mid to longer range in terms of at least what's being played right now. Genji is kind of mid to short range, but I feel like if he's got more space to work with, it would benefit him because he can pick his dive targets with space a little bit more appropriately. Same thing with you. You're a little bit more of a mid to longer range character. Unless your aim struggles, then you might want to be a little closer. But if your aim's pretty good at Lucio, I feel like being over here would benefit you more. And then on top of that, you've got your beat drop. And if you're playing over here, you might be able to scout out when that Reaper's going to ult, and you could potentially counter it with beat drop. Because you don't really have anything great to be countering beat drop with outside of Ramatra ult. And he does have it, so saving it for that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but... But then you go here, Ramatra drops you guys down, and then he ults and takes you all out. So you kind of played into their strength there. Whereas if you would have played them a little bit more out in the open, like right here, see how, like, let's back this up a little bit.
How's that for sound therapy?
So, I noticed you used amp coming out of spawn. Don't do that here just because the fight is so close to your spawn. Just save it for either pushing through this choke, a speed boost, or if, in this case, your tank is kind of already dinged up, you could have used it to amp up and heal. Speeding out of spawn when the fight's so close, kind of just not, it's pointless to me. Unless there's like a time thing going on, but you've got plenty of time. Okay, so I like that beat drop. There were Ramatra's ulting. Although the only thing I will say is that Ramatra, he was kind of low by the time he was ulting. You probably could have gotten away with maybe not beat dropping that just because of that circumstance. But then if you don't, then you're just holding it for a while. So I'm not totally opposed to it because it'll at least keep you in sync. By the time you build up your next ult, they'll probably have theirs, and you know. But be careful, you got a little close to that Reaper. He's low though, but if he just happened to like really point blank two tap you in the head or something, you might have died there. But just be careful with your positioning here. You're frontlining, and it's a little on the dangerous side. I get the whole you want to push up and all that, but get out. Oh yeah, okay. So poor positioning there. Your reaction time to that high noon, all you had to do was just quick hit the A key, and you would have slid over enough to have survived that. Now, I don't know, your front line's kind of crumbling with it, so you might have died anyway, but you still took a shot from the high noon that you didn't need to take there. So it's interesting they decided to push so heavy right there, though. It's a little odd. Okay, so we're back to the Ana now. Interesting use of ult there. Don't like that Ramatra ult personally, but maybe he makes it work. The reason I don't like that ult, for one, he had to dedicate his ult to a spot where he wasn't really going to get much for healing when he went off to the left. And then two, you guys are like just coming out of spawn. Why commit ults to that when you're so close to spawn? Like, push in a bit and then start ulting. I mean, again, unless there's a time thing going on, but you guys got time right now. Like, I personally, I would have waited till, at minimum, until you're through that door. That's when I would start pushing ultimates. You know, maybe a nano blade or something maybe gets a team wipe and then you really push through. But aside from that, I would be not committing ults until you really push through a bit more. So not so much a complaint to you or anything, but just commentary to what I'm seeing. That Ramatra a little premature. So this should be pinged. Okay, looks like it did get pinged. That's a ballsy flank for them. So I'm hoping that that gets punished. You should. Oh boy. So okay. When the door's opening, you don't have to be standing on the cart. It will move through that door on its own. Doesn't matter if they're standing there or not. Doesn't matter if you're standing there or not. That cart goes through the door on its own once it activates the door animation of it rising. So you don't have to be standing by the cart here. You don't have to be here. So what you could do is you could be standing right over here, or you could be standing on the other side of this pillar. Keeping your Ramatra going. But standing by the cart when you know your limit to your line of sight, because when this door shuts, like right here essentially, you're about to get cut off from the fight. Like right here, you should now know that. And now you need to be seeking better position. And considering where you're at right now, just go around. Just like right here, you should be going around and then just hip firing your Ramatra through right here just while you can, while you get into a better spot. Because once this door shuts, you've been cut off. And you're not reacting to that. And by the time you get around there, it's too late.
They have superior numbers.
So at this point, just get out. All the way back to spawn. You should don't even poke here. Just get out. Alright, they're not gonna punish you being there, so whatever, but if that were me, I'd go all the way out.
Enough whining. You're fine.
Good nano blade. You guys caught that right at the perfect time. Quality nano blade. Now at this point, what I would be saying is 3 on. Let the Genji and the Ramatra kind of keep them in spawn, but make sure they're kind of like in a line of sight and have 3 on the cart. Because if you have 3 on, you guys should get it pretty close to all the way, I would think. But unfortunately, it's just you pushing, so they might get another opportunity here. Yeah, they're contesting, so I don't know if you would have pushed it all the way with 3 on and then 2 kind of like holding them in spawn, but my guess is you're probably like in that vicinity. Somewhere in there is where I think. And then that forces them to really be glued to the cart if they're really going to be contesting, and that changes the dynamic of the fight. So that's unfortunate your team didn't do like 3 on there, or even 2. Would have been good. And that looks like that's going to cost you the game too, actually.
Be careful.
Soon as that nano blade won you guys a fight, 3 on cart. And then at that point, just play the cart the rest of the way and hopefully you guys win. And then you back up a bit. And just hope that your team doesn't C9 the cart. But yeah, so DPS not healed. Enough. I blame that a little bit more on the Kiriko than you. But it is what it is. I felt the DPS weren't getting supported the greatest. 2, the team comp as a whole, I wasn't a big fan of. I didn't like the Diva Winston pick with the Lucio. For example, I also didn't like for the way the Kiriko was playing, I didn't like the Ana with it. I think something that would have focused the DPS priority of heals a little bit more would have been beneficial. And then 3 positioning. And we called that out as we saw it. But I think you could have played your lines of sights a little bit better. And I'm going to say a 4th one. And I'm going to give this one to you as homework a little bit. I don't want to eat up too much more time on this video because this one's getting a little lengthy. We're getting close to an hour here. But your antis... look at your antis and see if you really actually got any real value from them. You were hitting your antis with your nades, but were you hitting them in a way that your team was able to take advantage of them, and it wasn't necessarily just a situation where they were able to back off, wait for it to wear off, and then they just go in again? It might be a mixed bag, but highly recommend you maybe just kind of analyzing your antis of a few games and just seeing how the enemy reacted to them being antied, and were they in a situation where maybe you could have waited a little bit and then maybe threw a nade out to anti them and maybe get a little bit more value where they wouldn't have been healed, and then your team gets more value out of it. I felt like it was a slightly overleaning mixed bag of maybe them being able to just wait out your anti and not getting max value from it. But I'm going to leave that one to you as homework because we're getting kind of lengthy on this VOD review. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.